We'll be learning this programming language, C++. So I prefer C++ rather than other programming languages. There are another popular programming languages such as Python or Java. Now Java, uh, I'm not at a very professional level in Java. Python, yeah, Python's very good and easy, very beginner friendly. But when you talk in the perspective of getting the initial job in your career, that time Python won't fetch much of an advantage for you because Python has a lot many royalties for which the interviewers who are be asking you a question, and once you solve them, they'd be like, you don't use this, solve the very same question without using this method, without using that method. So these things can be trained when you start your career learning with C++ or Java, because C++ and Java are they're there from way back generations, and they don't have much programmer friendly methods. So in order to do any task, you need to exclusively code for yourself and create a new function, and that's what interviewers want from you. Once you give an answer to whatever question they would be asking, they would be like, okay, we are okay with your answer, but we need an answer without using so and so. So for those things, keeping them in mind, I think if you still got time, then starting C++ or Java would be really good. So structure of C++ programming is quite simple. It generally has two things. One is libraries, and another one is functions. That's it. Only these two things. This is the basic structure of C++ program. First comes libraries, then comes functions, and you need to follow the order. You can't be like, you can't get functions before the libraries. So there are many libraries. So I think you need to practice this, because writing this so-called library hash include std sorry hash include bits std c++.h. Now this is a magic library, because once you write this header file, you don't need to worry about writing any other header file. It do import every available header file, and then you need to go with using namespace std. Now what exactly it does is, there are things like, there are many files and there are many pre-programmed files in the programming languages. In order to distinguish the ambiguity between the same identifiers or same class names, this namespace deals with them. And then come your function. So basically your compiler itself calls a function by itself. That's generally, we call it as main function, and this function has something in its body, and in the end of the body it's like return 0, and it's done. So this is the very basic structure of C++ program. So this is called a library or header file. I would suggest you to practice this header file with std c++.h, because you might not need those many libraries to import, but it is safer side, because no matter if you are writing your exams for your university or colleges, there you might use some functions in your main program, and then you might not remember the exact header file that it needs. So if you use this, it's like a wildcard. You import all the libraries. So your name is done, And using namespace std, as I say, it is used to distinguish between the same similar names. And int main. So this int main, this function is called by the processor itself, and in the end, once the whatever the function has to be performed, once it's done, and a value is returned to the processor that the function has been completed. So the most important thing about this is you don't really need to completely understand this structure at this moment, because see, this is something like whatever things you love at this present time. I mean, maybe you love playing cricket or playing football or whatever the sport is. You love it for no reason in the initial stages. Let's see how a child likes cricket. In the initial stages, surely they would be like, he hit the ball, and just by hitting and hitting, he would be like, he falls in love and scoring because of the large hits he make. So once they love to aim the ball properly and hit every time, that's when they love something, right? Once they find themselves to be good with it by nature. But they're going to learn the logics behind them in the later stage. Once you understand how the basic structure of cricket works, then you'd be like, okay, next time if a ball comes in this way, I need to be positioned in some other way in order to hit ball in some other direction. Same way, even the programming is something like that. You need to get into your child mode again. You don't need to think very maturely in the initial stages. Once you start questioning everything in your initial stages, things are going to be stuck up at that moment. If you really have some patience and get along with the programming journey for some time, then you will be realizing by yourself observing itself, because it's a pattern of study. Now, I mean this specific structure. Now, exactly how hash include and everything works, everything would be like, okay, there are so and so files that are pre-programmed, so this stuff would be a little bit confusing. And int main, why you should write this int main when you can do functions and that all. There are too many questions that might pop up in many other minds. So you need not worry about anything. You need to just try to memorize or understand that this is the very basic structure. So you need to follow first header files and or libraries, and underneath that you're going to use using namespace std, and underneath that comes a function. Surely in the upcoming classes there will be many functions, but this is the general functions that is mandatory. No matter there are more than one function, this function has to be there in the program, or else the program is not going to be executed. So that's it. This is the very basic structure. Just don't think hard, don't give too much of questions for yourself. Just understand it's simple. First there are going to be libraries, and then there's going to be a program that is function. So with the help of libraries and functions, that's it. Your program is done.